Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video in our sort of Gary Numan series. I seem to be doing quite a bit of Gary Numan things over the last good 5 or 6 months. I've been doing sort of like going through my DVDs of concerts I've got and some reviews and some unboxings, and I hopefully will continue to do some as we've got a few sort of Gary Numan releases on the way that've just been announced. But today we're going back a bit to one of my live sort of DVDs that I have, which is the Touring Principle DVD from 1979 tour, which was Gary's first, I think, sort of major tour. He'd done some sort of like club gigs with his band's Tubeway Army back in his sort of punk days, but this came out after this. This was his first sort of major tour, sort of with Beggars Banquet. He'd just released 2 albums in that year, Replicas, which was a Tubeway Army tour, and then the Pleasure Principle, which this album was toured with this tour. This is the album there, Pleasure Principle, and he sort of like toured on the back of this album, and he did a load of major dates, starting off at Glasgow and playing through to the Hammersmith Odeon in London. Unfortunately, this is the vinyl of the album. I did not make the tour, sadly, simply because I sort of like was too young, I think, and I just couldn't get to it. And I'd only just discovered Gary at this time. I bought his singles, Our Friends Electric picture disc, and I bought the single Cars, which had my favourite Gary Numan B-side on the back, Asylum. So this was the album that he toured on with this release. Now, there's not many songs on this. It has Me I Disconnect From You, M.E. or Me, We Are So Fragile, Every Day I Die, Conversation, Remember I Was Vapor, On Broadway, which is a cover of a George Benson song, Down in the Park, My Shadow in Vain, Our Friends Electric, and Tracks. But it's still quite a worthy track listing, to be honest. There's like 11 or 12 tracks on there, and there's a few photographs from there, and it just original sort of artwork. I think this was the original tour program photo. I didn't get one obviously because I wasn't there, but I do have a Telecon program, because that was my first tour, was the tour after this one. But yeah, he sort of went out and did a big sort of tour. But again, he got slated for it by the press and stuff like that, saying, oh, he was money grabbing and all this. But the fact is, if you listen to Gary and interviews around this tour, he actually made a loss on this tour because of the big sets, which I hopefully will show in some clips, that he did for that time. It was major big and cost a lot of money. And in fact, he lost money on this tour because he wanted to do a big tour with big lights as a thank you to his fans for sort of like following him and, you know, buying his albums, Tubeway Army, Replicas, and The Pleasure Principle, and the singles that came out along with those. It was his thank you, and he thought, I believe, this is what you had to do, was put on like a big show. So he didn't actually make any money off it, but he did get slightly for it, saying, you know, he's just money grabbing and all this, which he wasn't. And this release is really cool. It's got 2 versions of the concert. It's got a remastered version with a remastered sound on it, and taking off all the 80s camera effects, which was absolutely rife. If you bought any concert videos from the 80s, they were absolutely loaded with these sort of like special effects and stuff, which you're thinking, oh, just shows the concert, but you got that without the special effects. But then you've also got the original Touring Principle VHS release on there, because it was released on VHS back in the day. But yeah, and it's really cool. So you got 2 versions of it on there with an interview. The album, there was a full release of the album called Living Ornaments 79, which has the full concert on there. And I'll give you the full track listing of the show that is on there. Obviously, it starts with the intro, which is an excerpt from Replicas. Then you have Airlane, sorry. Me, I'll Disconnect from You, Cars, Me, You're in My Vision, Something's in the House, Random, Every Day I Die, Conversations, We Are So Fragile, Bombers, Remember I Was Vapor, On Broadway, The Dream Police, Films, Metal, Down in the Park, My Shadow in Vain, We Are Friends Electric, and Track. So that is the full set list of that show, which was released as a double CD a good few years back now. So it's a double CD, and there's a picture of the set, which is amazing. So that's cool. So that got released, but obviously back in the day it was released on vinyl, a part of the box set, the Living Ornaments 79 and 80, which I still have my original box set, looking a bit rough for wears now, but come on guys, it's a many years old now. I bought this when it came out. So it was a double vinyl box set, and it came with like this sort of pictures there from the show, and weirdly it had a picture from the Wembley show there on the back, and then it had, just to open it up, it showed you all the tour dates that Gary did on those 2 tours, the tour in principle and the Telecom tour, or Telly tour as it was called. And it had a vinyl release on that. So this was the vinyl release of the tour, with an amazing picture. I would have loved that as a poster, but I never got it as a poster. But there we go. And the track listing again was different on here. It had Airlane, Cars, We Are So Fragile, Films, Something in the House, My Shadow in Vain, Conversation, Dream Police, and Metal. 5 tracks on side 1 and 4 tracks on side 2, simply because Conversations is quite a long track. And there's the full line up there. Really cool. We've got Cedric Sharpley, Paul Gardner, Chris Payne, believe, Billy Currie, and I think that's Russell Bell on at the end there. That was the lineup for this tour. And yeah, I still have the vinyl of that. You see, a bit dusty because I rarely play it. It still works fine, but I don't have to listen to it because I have the CD of the full show. So that's cool. And also in the box set came Living Ornaments 80, which was my first Gary Numan tour, which was really cool. The track listing on this one, very faded now. This wreckage, I Die, You Die, Me, Every Day I Die, Down in the Park, Remind Me to Smile, The Joy Circuit, Tracks, Our Friends Electric, and We Are Glass. And that is the lineup of that tour. So it's really cool still to have these on the vinyl. So yeah, they released a box set called Living Ornaments 7980, which contained obviously highlights from the tour in principle. I believe both of these albums were recorded at Hammersmith Odeon. Obviously I would have been on the 81. So let me just pop all that away, guys. So yeah, there's the box set of the tour. Yeah, so Gary released this on his website. It's produced by Dash productions, but it got released exclusively, I think, to his site. And he released this the same time that he released Micro Music, the Wembley show, which we will review one day. And so he released this, and he released another DVD at the same time called In Conversation, which I think was him in like a sort of almost like a feature-length interview about the touring in this time, teletour and the farewell concert, that sort of thing, in preparation for his, because he went out and did a concert tour. This came out because he did like a concert tour of these. It must have been around sort of 2009. I don't know. Rubbish with years, guys. So don't need to correct me down below. I'm just an old git. He released these in conjunction with that tour, and it was fantastic to grab this, because I never got this on VHS. Never. I had Micro Music on VHS, but I never had the Touring Principle. But this is a great show. It runs for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. You see Gary, he's got a real stage presence. I know Gary thinks he was uncomfortable back in the day, didn't know what to do on stage, but I liked him then more on stage. I thought his stage presence was more, you were drawn to it, whereas now he seems to sort of bang his head a lot and do all these sort of things with his arms, but he didn't do any of that back then. It was more moody, I suppose. But I liked that, because because he came, when he first came out, that's what attracted to me, because he was sort of like quite moody and sort of like didn't understand him, because he would quite happy just stand there and sing the song with his arms crossed or whatever, and it was just like, yeah, this is completely different. It just blew my mind, and he was just like, wow. And so in this performance, he performs a bit like that. He's a bit more sort of like static than he is now. Now he's sort of like all over the stage. Obviously, he's grown in confidence over the years, and he'll say his live performances have improved because of that. But I like that. I quite like that nervousness, that sort of that alienation from the crowd. I quite like that, because it made him like this sort of like alien-like sort of guy that just doesn't fit in. But there we go, and it's an amazing performance. The remastering on this is really cool. Yes, the picture quality is still quite grainy and a bit sort of like of its age, but guys, you know, this is what, nearly 50 years old or whatever, so it's fantastic to still be able to have these. The sound quality is fantastic. It's the same quality as the CD. The original one, sound quality is a little bit downbeat and a little bit downgraded, obviously, because it's from the original source, and you do have all those 19 sort of 80s video effects where you get like a mirrored image like about 30 times sort of thing, and I'm just thinking, what is going on, and slow motioned down. But if you watch the altered one, it's proper sort of concert footage, and the screen does go black on occasions, but I think that's because where it's been inserted with these effects to sort of like cut some of the film footage, but it doesn't take it away from this being a historical sort of like recording. Again, I believe this is recorded at Hammersmith Odeon, where the actual show was. And that's it, a nice little review of Gary Numan's Touring Principle.